You're now tuned in to Sold in 60, the one and only largest timeshare podcast in the world. With your hosts, Richie Rich and my right-hand man, Down Payment Dillan.
In the building.
You know what I'm saying? It's Sold in 60. What's good? We're back. Listen, I know you guys been missing us. We went on vacation. You know what I'm saying? But we're back. It's episode 30. And we are getting prepared for 2024. So a few things we wanted to talk to y'all about, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to my right-hand man, Down Payment Dillan. We in the building.
Yeah, I get a lot of people asking me that, hey, we've heard the show on Spotify. We've heard the show on, Roku. We've seen the show on Fire Stick. Where is a central location that I can go and just see all the shows? Because we have a lot of shows all on platforms spread out everywhere. So, Rich, where can someone go if they want to see all the videos? Where can someone go if they just want to hear the audios driving to and from work?
I think the main platform to see the videos is on Spotify. I believe Spotify has both the audio and the video. But if they want to see like real behind the scenes raw, then they need to go to the Factual app.
They need to download the app.
All right, so listen closely. Whether you got Apple or Android, because we got love of both sides, okay? You have to look up the app Factual, just like it sounds, Factual, and you'll see the Factual TVs, the app, and you download that. And that's when you get the exclusive footage and the long footage. Because if you go on YouTube, you can see some of the videos, but you're going to see a fraction of the episodes. If you go on Instagram, which we love when you go on Instagram, because if you ever want to comment or give feedback or request a topic, that's the spot to do it as well on Instagram, Sold in 60. But if you want to see the true behind the scenes, then you want to go to the Factual app and get the whole video and the other stuff that we talk about that you may not see. But anyway, for audio, Spotify is where it's at, and the edited videos is on Spotify as well.
Got you. Awesome. All right. So we closing out the year. December's about to start. We at the end of 2023 in December, right? What's going on at the timeshare resorts right now?
Well, first of all, 2023 was a good year. I think a good year overall. I think that did we break records this year? I think that there were some records broken this year at some resorts. I know there's a lot of money flowing everywhere. But it's that time of the year where it's slower for the first 2 weeks of December, and then it gets busier for the last two. So week 51 and 52, if y'all are vets or in this industry, you need to know your weeks, okay? And then again, that's coming from a guy who sold weeks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if points work the same.
It's still the same.
It's still the same. Okay, so we know that week 51 and 52 is one of the largest weeks of the year, and obviously that is the Christmas and that's the New Year's. So if you don't know your weeks of the year, in my opinion, for living in Florida, because every state may have a different high season, but our weeks are usually 6 and 7, which is the bike week and the race week, 14 and 15, which is usually Easter and spring break, right? And then we have week 26, which is 4th of July. And then there's Christmas and New Year. So we're gearing up towards one of the largest 2 weeks in the calendar year, where these 2 weeks can change your life, because the people who are vacationing around this time of the year, they got it. They can afford the vacation. So this is where you have heavy hitters, heavy spenders that come, people that vacation big. So I believe that this is a good time where people make money, in my opinion. And we'll go in the next season we go over the sessions.
Okay.
Not the sessions, the seasons. The seasons, the months. Yeah, we got a calendar where we break down for y'all where it's gonna be like, okay, who to expect in January and February, and throughout, because the seasons change on who's traveling. January we may have snowbirds coming in, or we may have a mature type of crowd coming in that what they call empty nesters and stuff like that. So anyway, but 51 and 52 brings in a different type of clientele who don't mind spending money on vacations to travel in the season of the holidays, during the holidays. You know what I'm saying?
And depending on, like you said, the season is going to depend on the clientele that you're getting, and that's going to depend on the type of pitch that you're going to give on the table, because each different clientele is going to have a different pitch, obviously, right, to sell them.
Absolutely. I at one point I didn't know what was the pitch to sell the mature folk, right? You know, people that are in their 70s, you know, they don't worry about the kids no more. They care about the grandkids, you know, and they don't need, there's no
legacy.
rush. The legacy. And they don't care about the water park, and they don't care about, you know, but they have a different type of vibe, you know. They can stay for a month away. There's no, I just got X amount of time off from work, because they don't work. They're retired, you know?
Yeah.
So
And they don't want the loud kids running in and out. They don't want noise coming from the water park at night. They don't want that. They want first floor, quiet, you know, no one at the resort, really. That's the type of things that they're looking for.
Facts. They want the pool that has no kids.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you have an adult pool at your resort, that's what they want to be at. You know what I'm saying? No noise. So yeah, I mean that's the type of year it is. So if you are gonna be joining any type of timeshare sales in this season of the year, you know, kudos to you, but you got to come out running. You got to come out ready. And at the same time, with that being said, I hate when people start at this time of the year, personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you feel about that, D, but I'll tell you why I feel. But what do you think?
Yeah, well, we can jump into it. I mean, when are the best seasons to join? When's the best month to join? I mean, why joining the first week of December is not the best? You tell me that.
I want to say, anyone that's getting into the business, congratulations for getting into the business. You know what I'm saying? But if you had a choice to strategically pick when, I would say you want to get in, you know, around like May, because May will then lead into the summer. I feel like the largest opportunity is the summer months, because you have June, July, August, and then after Labor Day, then things get slow. But you have a better time to prove yourself and to get acclimated with the culture, because I feel like there's a learning curve, right? When you start at a resort, training is one thing, but when you hit the floor, you know, you have to learn how to work your back end better, because some resorts don't really teach you the back end. Sometimes you're going to learn from the failures that you have, where people had said no. And if you journal your sales, then you say, okay, this person said this to me last time, but if I would have said this, I could have got them to change their mind. And I think that in the summer, you have a better time of learning from your mistakes, where you're starting in a place like week 51 and 52, which is this time, right? The holiday season of Christmas and New Year's. After 51 and 52, it gets slow, and there's no more tours to give you. Yeah. So there's a possibility that these resorts will say, you know, unfortunately, we can't keep you because we don't have the volume of tours to give to everyone. So we're just going to keep our top producers. You know what I'm saying? So although I know that there's a class starting like tomorrow, for those group of people, I feel kind of sad for them. You know what I'm saying? But there's going to be, out of every class,
a few is going to rise to the top. The cream is always going to rise to the top.
Yeah, that's true
for sure.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
they say heat rises.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good or bad?
So, out of the what 30 people in a class, 40 people in a class. So
there's a class of 70 something that's gonna be starting.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying? And out of that, man, I think maybe 5 is gonna pop.
Yeah, for sure.
Around, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, and I'll leave that to the next person that comes on the show to tell us, like, when they was in a class, if they've been in the business for more than 5 years, how many people from their class is still here? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, for me personally, I'm the only person from my class. Everyone that I've met in the business that has been 5 years or more, they're the only ones from their class.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's a unicorn in every class. You know what I mean? And hopefully we find that unicorn in this next season, you know? But it be like that. But I'm not saying don't join. If this is your opportunity to get involved in this season, go for it. You just gotta make it shake. You know what I'm saying? Because I truly believe, like, training is the foundation, but I think that there's a lot more to learn. And when you jump into a busy season where there's not much time for someone to sit down and coach you,
yeah,
it's a lot to learn. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of deals that leaves the table because a person didn't know.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I went through that a lot, especially in the beginning. But on the flip side of that, there's always two sides to a coin. And, me, I'm the type of person that, Rich is telling you strategically if he was to get in the game, what month would be the perfect month or what season would be the perfect season. But once you get into the hustle and bustle of things, coming from me, a person that has worked at multiple timeshare resorts, right? If ever I had to leave a resort, it really didn't matter what month I was in. If I ever had to leave a resort for a specific reason, I would go to the next resort. I wasn't sitting there timing saying, okay, well, I'm going to wait this month or I'm going to hold off 2 more months until this season starts. No, hey, when's the next training class? Okay, I'm there, So if you're out there looking to get into the industry, you could wait and kind of time it, that way you have the highest probability to succeed, or you can just jump right into the fire and get going.
Obviously, if they have experience somewhere else, then you can bounce.
Yeah, you're good to go. You're good to go.
Else, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You just got to adjust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to go where the opportunities are. There's something, like I got a cousin right now, he's at a certain resort, and he's telling me, yo, it's a slow motion out here. I want to shift. And I'm like, well, go over here. He didn't pull the trigger, but, some resorts have a better tour flow than others, where some resorts have a better clientele, better qualified. Because some people will just be like, yo, you breathe? All right, you qualified. Go take a tour.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know what I've been hearing lately? Because I'm talking to a lot of reps from different resorts, and they're all saying the same thing. The quality of tours that we're getting are, not the best. They're broke. They don't have any money. And when you think about it, if you take 4 or 5 different reps from 4 or 5 different resorts and they're all saying the same thing, the tour's broke, the tour don't have money, at that point I don't think you guys, what you're doing is, what I think that you're doing is, as they say, there's a sale going on each table. Either you're selling them or they're selling you. Mm-hmm. You guys are letting them give you these excuses of we're broke and we don't have money or whatever. They're telling you this stuff while they're on vacation, and you guys are eating it right up. Just eating it right up. I think that's what's going on right now. You guys got to remember, they're going to tell you whatever they can to get out of the situation of having them buy. Whatever they tell you is the reason why they can't do it, you got to flip that back onto them, and that's the same exact reason why they should do it. So an example of that would be, hey, I can't do it right now because we don't have any money and we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Well, that's exactly why you should be doing this. Right. Because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So go ahead, Rich.
That's well said. That's why we have the sold in 60 objection cards.
For sure.
Because there's nothing new under the sun. It's like sold in 60 objection cards could be found on what's that? Sold in 60 Instagram, link in the bio. Mm-hmm. Sold in 60, right? I feel like in this here, we've come across the same objections constantly, right? So if we lay them out across the table, you already know it's something that has been said before, and there's a way to overcome them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it's important. And shout out to the people who bought from places that I didn't even know they have resorts. Like, I don't even know. There was places in Wisconsin.
I think you said, yeah.
Wisconsin. There's a few people in Virginia, but it wasn't in like the Virginia I know. It wasn't It wasn't in like Williamsburg, you know what I'm saying? So, there's resorts all over. And shout out to the people that's tuned into the show from these different states. And I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all and your feedback and your support for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of times when we're giving out our point of views, it's coming from a perspective of Orlando, Florida, to be honest with you, right? When we're giving you our season, the best seasons and the best time to join and things like that, that's mainly coming from the point of view of Orlando, Florida. But we have people, with the power of the internet and these programs and Spotify and things like that. We have people listening to us from all states, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like, shout out to the people in Park City. You know what I'm saying? Park City. You been to Park City before?
I have.
That's what's up.
I have been to Park City, Utah before.
I went to Colorado, but that's the closest I've been to snow. Okay. But like that whole ski in, ski out, valet skis. Like that's a whole different breed of people.
Now, you didn't ask me if I went skiing. You said, have I been to Park City? There's a difference.
There's an assumption that like Park City, for me, I'm like Park
Yeah.
City, snow, you know?
Yeah.
Colorado, snow. Like I remember I got a deal. I had a guy, young couple came in. Someone sold them the towers in Orlando, and they actually bought in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Planet Hollywood Towers is different. So someone just told them that Orlando was the same as the one they was in.
Mm-mm.
But when they got there, it was not. So I was fortunate enough to get them as a tour. And they said, we would not own in Orlando. We don't have kids. We hate Orlando. We would never come back here. The dude was a snowboarder. So I offered him a ski week in Park City. It was about $40,000 to do the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And he said no to Orlando. I was trying to give him a 4-bedroom. You know, he had a 2-bedroom with the towers. I was trying to give him a 4-bedroom. And I said, if it was a ski week, would you do it? He was like, if it's a ski week, I would do it. That's what I do. I'm a snowboarder. And I was able to get him the deal for that 40. It was a 2-bedroom, not a 4, but it was a ski week. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the people that ski. Shout out to the different resorts and different seasons, because ski weeks in these places are different. You know what I'm saying? Like you can ski in, I think they're still skiing in March. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm thinking is spring.
Year-round?
No, like snow is different in these different places.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a February, March, there's still snow
Yeah.
in certain places. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So this wasn't a March week. I think it was like it was either like early January or whatever. But it's deep. I don't ski. I only skied once when I went to Colorado.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? But real talk, the one thing that I did learn about that is that it's a big deal about having jacuzzis on the balconies and valet skis at this particular resort. Like those are hot buttons for certain people if that's your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Put me onto a beach and that's my lifestyle. But for these gentlemen, that wasn't that. So whatever time you getting in, depending on where you are, that's what's important. I think those hot weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially now you remind me when I was in Denver, I was at a buddy's house and he had the hot tub or the jacuzzi in the backyard. And I remember, you know, going out to the backyard and it was snowing and he was in the jacuzzi. So I remember looking at that, especially being from Florida, and I'm just like, damn, that's so cool.
That's
like it's
different.
snowing
Yeah.
and you in the jacuzzi. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just crazy to look at, but that's kind of
lit.
funny.
This resort, I'm talking about, I think every unit has a jacuzzi on the balcony.
That's dope.
I never imagined that though, being cold and then getting in the hot water and getting out and it's like it's all good. But it
Yeah.
seems to be a thing.
That reminds me of also what you're talking about, how you had a client that purchased ski week, right? So I don't think if you're working for a company that is point based, I don't think you can sell them like a ski week. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can do that because obviously the points are be able to use
Flexible.
anytime you want.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's I guess it could be an advantage depending on who's in front of you if they want a specific, time of year.
I'm assuming the points are more points in this particular time of year.
Yeah,
But if you have enough points, you can definitely get it. Because what's the festival for the film people?
Sun Festival or
Yeah. It's not called Sun, it's something. I can't remember. But that film festival. We'll come back to that. We'll remember the name. But that film festival is actually in Park City.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So this resort I'm speaking of, they have a resort in Park City. It's a big deal. Sundance.
Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Gotcha.
I'll look it up. I don't have my phone. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's lit. So
Yeah,
moral of the story
but what I'm saying is you can actually sell them that week. A points person can't sell them that week. So your person is actually guaranteed to be there at the festival. If I sell you points, you're not guaranteed to be at the festival. You have enough points to attend, but you're not guaranteed it.
Well, if it's a fixed week, then yeah. If it's a floating week, then they can possibly. based
Sundance
upon
Film
the
Festival, yeah.
Sundance Film Festival, yeah. So that's it. So basically, based upon availability.
Based upon availability. How many times have you said that in the timeshare industry?
Well, That's rough. You know, some people don't like that shit based upon availability. So you're saying it's not guaranteed? Nothing's guaranteed. However, if you put in a request early enough, you're more likely to get it.
Well, you give the extreme example and say, you know, are you going to call the Hilton on New Year's Eve to book your reservation? No? Okay. So based on availability.
And if you're in sales, there's nothing wrong with giving a baby negative, because the baby negative lets you know that you're being straight up.
I like baby negatives.
Baby negatives.
I like baby negatives.
Nothing is guaranteed process or perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to know how to work the product. And I think, like, we come across people who, you know, if you have somebody that feels like, oh, it doesn't work, blah, 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 you have to ask these questions like, well, how did you try to do the exchange? How did you try to do the reservations? And you'll realize that people will wait, you know, 2 days before and be like, yo, I want to go to Jamaica and I want it on the beach, blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, bro, you're going to be inland.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We also, for the new episode for the new year, we're going to be talking about, for the new season, we're going to be talking about the dating process too. I think we had like 1 or 2 daters on the show last season, but we're going to get a little bit more in depth,
deep dive
about the dating process, because there's a lot that goes on during the dating process. I'm pretty sure once sales reps take their family into the dating office and they're in there for about, 45 minutes to an hour, the whole time the sales rep should have their fingers crossed, you know, hoping that this deal doesn't kick, especially if they haven't pitched any heat or said anything that they wasn't supposed to say.
I feel like the dating is another hurdle. Well, and what are the other names that some resorts call it? I know some call it dating, some say closing, some say what's the other one?
9 times out of 10, this is the dater.
All right,
but they got closing agent too.
So if you're watching and you don't know what the heck we're talking about, basically after you get the sale, there's a process where there's a closing, and the closing, we call it a dater because it goes to dating, because most of the resorts are deeded real estate, and they go through a process where they go over everything that they're purchasing. Now, some people bend the truth. Some people misunderstood what they thought they heard, and all that gets, verified and clarified in this process. But this is the time where, the family gets separated from you. They're with another person. The doors close, and now they go over everything that they was promised, or everything that they're gonna own, or what they're signing.
Everything that you told them that they was gonna get.
Yeah, but then there's also maybe some details of the fine print. Then there's the truth in lending, because obviously when you finance something, the price that you see here is not the end price if you keep that interest.
Yes.
Right? So here's the reality. You may have agreed for $25,000 sale, but if at that interest making 120 payments, now you've paid $50,000.
Yeah.
Right? So those things get disclosed. And those teachers are pretty trained well to explain to them that, this is what you agreed to, this is the interest. However, if you make one extra payment a month, that'll reduce the...
Yeah, but that's only if they keep our interest rate.
and nobody keeps our interest rate. Well, probably everybody does. There's funny. Yeah, there's a few people who are wise enough or in the position to not keep the interest rates that are given, but they are pretty high. But again, I mean, people. I tell my families, interest is an option.
Yeah, for sure.
Interest
Always
is an option. If you're in position to use your own financing or to move monies around, then so be it. But if not, we're going to give you the opportunity to become an owner today. Blah blah blah. So yeah, we're going to have more dealers on the show, speaking of their experiences, and we want to hear some of the wild stuff that they've been hearing. Because. I'm from a department where we used to always say we don't say those type of stuff here.
Yeah,
that meant to come from the front line or from the day line. But every now and then, wild cowboys come into the industry and start saying whatever. This is the not type of thing where your pitch is recorded for quality assurance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And you have people that out of desperation say some things just to get a sale. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, there's some people who are on the fence, like, hey, you had a rough month, you had a rough week. And sometimes they'll say whatever it takes.
to get a sale.
Yeah, which, you know, we don't condone that, but it's just a reality. Like,
Yeah, but that's not just timeshare sales. That's with any sales that has something to do with 100% commission and they have quotas to meet or they're going to get fired. I'm pretty sure out of the bunch, some people are going to say some things they don't need no business saying just so they can get a sale and make money to feed their family. I mean, it is what it is.
feed their family, or they may get that money taken back from them. So it's like a small loan. They're taking it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, have you ever had a sale that like you got paid on and they took the money back?
Why would they take the money back? Because it kicks later?
It kicks or they cancel or something. I have.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's happened to me before or something like that, but not often.
I've had someone purchase, and let me think. I have people that purchase.
And you spent the money already.
Because the company that I work for, they give you like an advance.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like what they call like a half check.
For sure.
So like if you get the sale today, tomorrow, I'm going to give you $500. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, if that family decides I don't really want it,
and you got to get the money back.
You owe that $500. And then there's some situations where like if they get an attorney involved, right, and it goes past the rescission period, they can still get their money back, and then they got to charge you back for that. So I mean, it got $3,000, but because it went to another level, they're like, yeah, let me get that $3,000 back.
And speaking from experience, it's never a good thing when when attorney gets involved in the timeshare process. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not good when they start talking about attorneys getting involved and, you know, having meetings with the higher ups and things like that. Then things are not going well. You know, you want to stay away from those situations at all costs.
Yeah. But I mean, every now and then it happens, you know? I mean, listen, there are a lot of companies that market get out of your vacation ownership.
We were just talking about that.
We were just talking about that. And I mean, I've yet to find a company that is
legit.
100%.
Let's just say it. Legit. I haven't found one yet.
Because it's a big hustle. I think everyone's there's ways to get out, but I don't think that those are the people that's marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think those people that's marketing. With an attorney that's educated in this field, if there's a loophole, because some people document when they reached out to the company and say, hey, I decided that I don't want to move forward with this. If they have, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a written proof. You know, I sent the email or I sent the text message and it was delivered and I can confirm this communication was made within this time period, then they have the right to say, you know what, I have the right to back out. Please refund me my money. But there are some people who, for whatever other reasons, outside of their rescission period, then decide, I don't want to do it no more, blah, blah, blah. I talked to my cousin and my cousin said, blah, blah, blah. If they've exceeded that rescission period, then, you know, they don't qualify.
Well, you know, there's some companies, again, we're speaking from particular companies and then we're speaking from Orlando point of view, but there's some companies that they can still cancel after the 10 days.
Really?
With no problem.
Get out of here.
There's some companies where the company itself will reach out to the guests and ask them, would they like to cancel their time? Are they sure that they want to continue to keep the timeshare or would they like to cancel? Like they initiate the cancellation.
Really?
Yes. It's like, what are you doing?
Huh. I know representatives. I've only had this happen once, but sometimes these families, they shop around. Like they'll be here on vacation and they'll do multiple presentations.
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
They purchase at this one place, then they come presentation for you.
For sure.
I really like yours better, man, but I gotta tell you something. We bought over here the other day.
Yeah.
And the rep be like, yo, cancel that.
For sure.
Let me show you how to cancel that. Cancel that. Sure. And then get this.
I've had that happen to me and taken the family in my car, drove them back to the resort, took them up to their sales center and canceled.
Gangster.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't done that.
Absolutely.
The only time I took somebody in my car is I took them to Universal. They was like, oh, we gotta take this shuttle. Back then they used to have a shuttle to take the people to go to Universal, and they decided to do the presentation. So they was like, yo, listen, we want to do it, but we got to get to the park. I'm like, listen, forget that. I got you. I'm gonna take you to the park. When they purchased, I took them to the park. Everything was good, and the deal stuck.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But then there's those deals where you friggin' buy them a pizza out of dating and you doing the right thing, and then those deals they be like they cancel.
They cancel. Yeah, I used to hate when that happened.
I
You buy the whole family food.
You babysitting the kids, you taking them to get ice cream.
Cancel.
Nah, but I did that pizza thing a few times and I stopped doing the pizza. You gotta stick.
We also got the new season coming up. We're gonna be having some people in management on the show, right?
Sure.
People that held managerial positions,
High ups.
I want to hear what those point of views are because they're seeing a whole nother side. They're seeing the behind the scenes stuff that the sales reps don't even know about.
We didn't even talk about the numbers in the, for the year, like the billions of dollars in the industry and the amount of commissions paid out, the amount of money's made off referrals and the amount that, you know what I'm saying? So like with those people come up, that's going to be good because it's a different perspective. When you're in the field and you're in a representative, you focus on your own. But as a company, every company is making good revenue, and the scope of what's coming in for the week, for the month is different, like a representative wakes up and just is ready to hustle. But these companies are worried about, occupancy. You know what I'm saying? Like these managers are worried about occupancy and what's the occupancy for like these months and what's our summer looking like and these holidays. It's a different animal. You know what I mean? And as an industry as a whole, like it's really a very billion-dollar industry. So I'm happy to see the people that's coming up. I mean, you have managers, you have operations, you have the marketing teams, the OPC, that what you guys like to call them. You have people from the American Resort Development Association, from ARDA, coming. That's the industry. Like, just if you're a realtor and you know the Orlando Regional Realtor Association or Osceola, ARDA is like the association for timeshare. You know what I'm saying? The advocate for timeshare. And, we have some good things coming up for 2024, some good people.
And I'm pretty sure just like how sales reps have to hit their numbers and their quotas, I'm pretty sure manager positions have to hit their quotas and hit their numbers and their percentages also, or they're going to get fired as a manager and replaced.
Well, I find that as a salesperson, every class that's coming out gives us a successful salesperson an opportunity to become a manager. Because at this time they're going to need more managers to manage the new representatives coming out, and this is your time to shine. If you were doing good with being successful as yourself, it puts you in an opportunity to then create a team or create more producers. If you could reproduce yourself, like as any company, if you're a top producer, they would love to reproduce you, right? If I can just clone you and make more of you, I'll be happy. So the same thing happens when you take yourself as a representative and then become a manager. We like to call them a TO, right? But the truth is, will that person have the patience to teach and to train and to motivate? And can you find the motivation in the individual? It's a different type of animal. When you take yourself from focusing on myself to how can I train other people? You know what I'm saying? And I have a buddy that just told me today that he's going to take the position as a TO, and he's one of the ones that recommended me to get into the industry. So I'm excited to see how successful he I know he's going to do good. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you're only as good as the team. And this particular resort that he's at, they have a rotation. So like before, as a TO, when I started, you can pick your team and your team is your team. If you had a major team, then you was winning. But in this system they have now, it rotates. It rotates either on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. So everyone gets a piece of, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a person that's popping, well, as long as you have high sales for that, let's say the week or the day, you're going to get the person with the highest. So it's going to be interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mentioned OPC too. That's another excuse that I'm hearing from a lot of sales reps out there. The OPC is telling the family that when they get here, they don't have to buy anything and just go through the motions and the blah, 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 blah. So you're basically saying the OPC is telling the family what to say to get out of the deal. Now, if you've been in timeshare for, at least say, a year or more, then you should already know OPCs are saying that. That shouldn't even be a concern to you. You should already know. Of course, OPC is telling this family what to say. Oh, just go there. Don't worry. They're going to have a buffet for you and just say no and then you'll go back to Disney. You know that they're going to say that already. You have to be in your peak state. You have to be already trained and ready for this. You know, when I go into a tour, I think it was called breaking the pack. Like, you got to break the pack. You got to let them know that you know.
Yeah, you know that they ain't coming about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once you do that, you know, I'm pretty sure that'll open doors for you.
I mean, people say the OPC see a lot of stuff, right? They tell them, oh, say that you're buying a house or, you know, whatever. Say that you're married. Say that you have a job. Say that you make over $50,000. You know, everyone has a job, and I feel like, you know, in a training class they teach you 4 hurdles, but there's also my own hurdles. I think the first hurdle is the OPC getting the families to sign up for 60 minutes. The next hurdle is for you to get them interested every 5 minutes, right?
For sure.
So you get to the back end. The next hurdle is to get them to commit to what they're going to spend regardless is something they should put towards ownership. Now you got them to say yes. Your next hurdle is to get them through the deeding process, because the deeders, in my opinion, and you know, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like their job is to shake any uncertainty that those people have to know that they're going to go through with this. But that's another hurdle. You know what I'm saying? Because some of those deeders that I know, they will tell them, listen, I'm representing Florida State. I'm a notary, blah, blah, blah. Tell me, you know, you don't got to worry about the representative. Tell me, are you comfortable with it, blah, blah, blah. So that's another hurdle. Now, then there's the rescission hurdle of them going back home. And guess what's waiting for them when they get back home? All the friggin' mail that they didn't get because they was on vacation. And the mail is bills, 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 bills. You know what I'm saying? So there's a few different hurdles involved, you know? That's how I see things.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I agree on that.
But you got to be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? If the OPC says, at the end of the day, this product sells itself, right? At the end of the day, the product sells itself. People go on vacation. People going to spend money. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I've spent money outside of timeshare. So I know it's a fact. And that's what the product is about. It's showing people you can rent or you can own. You can rent your vacations and not have nothing to show for it, or you can own your vacations and you can leave it for your family members, right? So it's a one-time payment for a lifetime of vacations.
Yeah.
You know, I just came back from vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just went to Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, it started with 3, now there's like 7 resorts in Dubai that they can exchange into. That's sick. An exchange, the interval is $229.
Mm-hmm.
When I paid, I didn't do an exchange, just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? I paid $3,000 for a 5-day stay.
Mm-hmm.
When a person could, for $229, have 7 days in a resort.
Now, why did you end up spending more money versus just paying $225 exchange?
Because I'm a jerk.
Well, on top of that, I would imagine you to say it's because you wanted a specific experience. You know, that $225 exchange fee experience wasn't going to give you the experience that you took.
It could have.
It couldn't have.
It could have.
Oh, it could have?
It could have.
Okay.
Because the resort that was $229 was in the Palm, and I was big on going to the Palm.
Okay.
You know, the Palm is, at the time, I thought the Palm was a big thing. So if anybody had the eye on Dubai, everyone talks about the Palm, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a hot spot or whatever. And there's a resort that's right there that's at like the tip of the Palm.
So you're saying you could have went to the same spot for less?
I could have.
And you didn't because what?
Because I used the week that I had already. I didn't have a week to use. I've already used it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you should own multiple weeks, right? I didn't have a week to exchange at the time. So at that time, I picked a Airbnb in the Dubai Marina. And the Dubai Marina was just minutes away from the Palm, right? Gotcha. So, I mean, it's all kind of relatively close. But I picked that location. But I'm saying for a 3-bedroom was $3,000. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's a rent. Where a person who had owned could have stayed in the same area with the same
for less.
Just for less, you know what I'm saying, as an exchange. And remember, I booked my trip way in advance, you know, and that's how the exchange works. If you book it in advance, you could, and with interval, you can book up to 2 years in advance, I believe. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, should have went that route.
So the sad part is that there's families that did exactly what you did, but they'll go on a timeshare presentation and the rep is not strong enough to call them out.
Right.
Listen, you're spending more than this outside of the ownership.
Facts.
Or even if you didn't own it, you're spending more than this than it could have been if you would own it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the reps are not strong enough to call them out. You know what I'm saying? And take that same conversation right there and go second, third, and fourth level with it.
Well, if you're a rep, you can use my situation as a third-party story. You know what I'm saying? You had an owner, $3,000 week, less than a week of vacation. If I did that for 10 vacations, that's $30,000. Nothing to show for it. There you have it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
next season that comes up, we're going to be talking more about heat too, but we're going to be getting into a little bit more saucy heat. You know, we've been cute with it for the first two seasons.
First of all, for those that's watching, what is heat?
Heat is basically you telling a family something that's not true so that way you can secure your deal, I guess, in a nutshell.
That was well said.
Yeah.
Heat is lying. He is lying, you know? And some people feel that they have to have to pitch heat to sell the product, where, you know, some people disagree. Some people say that there's always a level of heat somewhere. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I think it's almost just like a relationship. I mean, you're going to tell your significant other everything, but are you really going to tell them everything? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
If you love them.
But no, I had a conversation with a partner of mine the other day. We were talking about why top reps don't like to share what they're saying on the table to get deals. And what our conversation led to was they're saying things that they have no business saying when you really think about it. If I'm a top rep making $100, $200, $300, $400, in some cases $1 million a year, and I don't want to tell you something that's going to better my coworker so that way he can make $100, $200, $300, $1 million a year, then why wouldn't I want to share that information?
Yeah.
I must be saying something that I have no business saying. And we're going to get into that in the next season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking to, and listen, if y'all want to hear that, then type heat in the comments. If you want to hear more heat, type heat in the comments, send the fire emoji. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some people who pitch heat, hit the I don't say the plateau, but they hit the sales that they wanted to and then left the industry. And they're willing to talk about it. They're willing to talk about, you know, what they've said and what they promised. And there's some people who pitch heat and didn't realize they're pitching heat. I mean, I'll just be 100% transparent.
Especially when you're new. You don't know you're pitching heat.
When you're new, you don't know. Like, for me, personally, I was big on real estate, equity, you know, all that. We use all those terms until and you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the less you know, the better. You know what I'm saying? Because it changes things, you know? But because I was selling deeded real estate, you know, my mind was saying it's real estate. You can build equity, you know? And my perception of equity is the value going up while your balance is going down. The problem is in the industry of timeshare is that
you're not building equity.
The equity they're talking about is the money you paid in. Because if you upgrade, that money they're going to give you back to use towards your upgrade.
Yeah.
But the value of the property is not something that you're going to see.
That you can resell in the future, not that type of equity.
And you know, depending on where you are, you know, if they teach you to tell people you can use it, rent it, will it, sell it, the sell it part is the key. People want to know they have an exit. Like, okay, if I'm done vacation, I can sell it. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? But the problem is the resale market that good? Is there a resale market, period? And that's where it comes to these timeshare exit companies that to listen to people and say, hey, you want to get out your timeshare, holler at us. And the problem is a lot of these companies are charging these people up front to list their property with no buyer ever in sight.
Yeah.
And that's why in the real estate class, they had to put in there that it's illegal for any broker to charge somebody up front for real estate services when it comes to timeshare. Now, I've watched the real estate class have a segment on timeshare that went from 2 sentences to now it's like, well, I watched it go from 2 sentences to a paragraph to now it's like a half a page.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it gets detailed, like how big does the font need to be? Does it need to be in bold? Like people need to understand, like the resale market is a different animal and it's not guaranteed. But when you have people that buy under the, I don't want to use the word pressure, but under the urgency of today, after being on vacation on a presentation that's 60 or 90 minutes, they purchase really quickly and it's a lot of information to digest. It's a very lucrative business. But understand this, people want to get out of it and they're vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And these timeshare exit companies, sometimes they get people
desperate.
And they get phone calls and they mix in jargon that confuses people, and people pay more money and realize that they get scammed.
Yeah.
So there's no need for heat if you just keep it real with the people. That's why I say baby negatives is a good thing, because everything is not perfect. It's not. And people are okay with that if you keep it real with them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So look forward to that.
All right. So I wanted to do a new thing in the segment where we pull a sold in 60 objection card coming from the host of the show. So that way, you guys can just hear a different point of view. Maybe we might share something that you've heard before. Maybe we might share something that you've never heard before, right? I can tell you never been in this industry too long to learn something new, right? We learn different tricks and tips all the time, or different angles or different point of views and things like that. So we got the cards scattered out. I'm going to have Rich go ahead and just pick a random card.
Shout out to the people who purchased sold in 60 objection cards coming from Wisconsin, Virginia.
Yeah, we see you, Wisconsin, Virginia.
Shout out. And I want to have y'all tap in and call up the show and just, tap in, talk to us, you know what I'm saying? Because that was interesting. You want me to pick a card?
Pick a card. Any card. Let's see what they got for you.
I should have our guy from behind the scenes come in and pick a card. All right. Matter of fact, pick a card. Tell me which card. He's going to give you an objection. All right. Let's see. What does it say? Oh, shit. That's the first. He picked the first card. That just means don't ask me no objection.
That's funny.
Let me see.
Thank you, card.
All right. Let's see. Sold in 60 cards can be found on Instagram at Sold in 60. The link is in the bio. Grab your card. It's a small investment for a great return so that you can be prepared to deal with the BS.
My parents own already. I can use theirs.
So the objection is my parents own already.
And that's a tough one, too.
It's a tough one. When every time you get a guest, what they call them, owners, guest.
Yeah.
Owners, kids, it's a hard. People want to kick the door. People say, yo, get them out of here, because they always say they can use my parents. My rebuttal to that is God bless the child who has its own. Always. You can't rely on what your parents own to satisfy you when it's time for you to vacation. Then I give them a third-party story, because my parents own timeshare for real, for real. I'm a timeshare baby. We own the Shawnee, Pennsylvania. We have week 17 and week 51. I still have the deeds from today. My third-party story is really a true story about the time that I was trying to do exchange to Cancun, because I used to go to Cancun for every Memorial Day using that week. So I was comfortable with using that week. I go to Cancun jump off. I'm not condoning that you guys go party, but Cancun jump off. Shameless plug. Shout out to O International. Amazing time for the urban community. So I used to go in there using my week. Now, one time I thought that I was going to go, because I continuously been going with my parents. And when I had all my friends give me the money, because I used to have them pay me as if we were, I was charging them. My parents decided they wanted to use the week. They had already booked their week, and I didn't have that week available. I had to scramble to find another room and end up paying more. So that right there forced me to get my own timeshare. So I share that experience with me on why they need to get their own. At the end of the day, you have to have your own, because the ownership that your parents own is not going to be as flexible as the one it is today. Today comes with more benefits, more opportunities, and it'll fit. It's just like this. If your parents had a flip phone, would you buy it? Would you use it today?
No.
Today we have smartphones. We have iPhones.
I just had the iPhone update a couple days ago.
When I did the update, I thought of timeshare. I was like, this is why you need to do an update.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep up, you know what I'm saying, with the technology. So that's how I would handle the objection. God bless a child that has his own. You got to get your own. What your parents' product did for them back then is not going to do what it does for you today.
For sure. I love it. So if you out there, you hear it, man. Order those Sold in 60 cards, Sold in 60 objection cards. You can get them from the Instagram page. The link is in the bio. We want to pay some bills real quick, Rich, before we get out of here. Go right ahead.
It's the main host, Factual Film Studio, who has their own TV channel, Factual TV. That's where you can see the whole episodes and behind the scenes of the Sold in 60 show, because they are the main sponsor of the show. So, shout out to Factual Films. If you're looking to shoot a podcast or do headshots or any type of content, they even have now a mic booth if you do voiceovers or audiobooks. I mean, Factual Film Studios has it for you. They can be located on Instagram at Factual Films TV, or you can contact them. I don't know the number, but the address is 8865 Commodity Circle, Orlando, Florida, Suite 7B.
Word. And that's how you get Sold in 60. And we out just like that. Word.
Peace.